Good morning, dear students. Happy to see all of you in your 9th standard. This is your physics period. I am Nisha, your physics teacher. So, in science, you have physics, chemistry and bio. Physics, you have 5 lessons this year, starting from chapter 8 to 12. So we have 5 lessons starting from chapter 8 to chapter 12. Now we are going to start with the first lesson, first chapter, motion. I know all of you are interested in science, especially physics, is it? No need of any worries. Physics is very easy. If you are systematic, you can study it. If you study it systematically, it will be easy for you. And teacher will give you an important tip to make physics learning easy. At the end of this class, teacher will give you that tip, so wait for that. Now we can start with the first lesson, motion. Motion, movement, move. You know the living things can move, so movement is there. Here you can see the flight of a bird. Now the bird is here. After some time, it is here, then here, from there, it reached here. So at the present moment, the bird is here. So when I ask you what the bird is doing, you will say, the bird is flying. The bird is moving. Yes, movement. How can you say the bird has moved? No change in size, shape or anything with that bird. But what changed? At first it was here and now the bird is here. The position of the bird changed from there to here with time. So position changed, so that you are saying that the bird is in motion. The bird has moved. There comes motion. So what is motion then? Change in position. Change in position with time. That is motion. So we can define motion like this. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with time, with respect to surroundings also. That comes. We will discuss that in detail. So this is about motion. And if the bird is not moving, no motion is there. If change in position is there, motion is there. And no change in position, no motion. No motion. So this is what, this is a state of motion. And now what you can see in this picture? A mountain. The position of the mountain is not changing, right? The mountain was there for a long time, so many years. Its position is not changing with time, months or years. So we can say no change in position for this object. That means no motion. We call the state of no motion as rest. So, state of rest. Then how can you say that this object is at rest? Yes, no change in position with time. So a body is said to be at rest if it does not change its position with time. These are the two states of an object in mechanics: state of motion and state of rest. Change in position, then motion. And no change in position, the state of rest. Here the definition. So this year onwards, you are facing the board pattern questions. 9th standard school-wise exam is there, but you will get 9th board pattern. Then you can expect these two questions. Define the state of rest. A body is said to be in a state of rest if it does not change its position with time, with respect to its surroundings. With respect to its surroundings, teacher will explain, you have to wait for that. Then, define motion. A body is said to be in motion if it changes its position with time, with respect to its surroundings. So, the state of rest and motion is clear to you. Now, types of motion. In our syllabus, we are not going in detail with these types of motion. I am just giving you an idea of types of motion. So we have three types of motion: linear motion, circular motion, and vibratory motion. So the first two motions, linear and circular motion, we will see in this lesson. Here, linear motion. What is linear motion? Here in this picture, you can see a car moving through a straight road. So the motion of the car is in a straight line. The motion is in a straight line. So here the motion of the car is in a straight line. Straight line motion is linear motion. So here a train moving through a straight path. So the motion in straight line, linear motion or rectilinear motion. Here you can see a ball moving from the top of a building to the ground, and it also has a straight line path, and here the motion is linear. Now the next type of motion is circular motion. In circular motion, the object executes a circular path. The blades of the fan, the leaves of the fan, it executes a circular path like this. It executes a circular path. So the path of the object is circular. So it is circular motion. Here, you know, merry-go-round. Here also, the motion is in a circular path, so circular motion comes there. So anywhere the change in state, change in position is there, right? Yes. Then here comes a vibratory motion. You are familiar with vibratory motion. Movement of a swing. You have that experience. You have moved in a swing. So swing executes to and fro motion. The swing executes to and fro motion. So it's a vibratory motion about a mean position. Here you have a pendulum. Pendulum in the clock. Earlier clocks have pendulums. Then this pendulum will move to and fro through a mean position, center position. It's a vibratory motion. In this lesson, we are not discussing about this vibratory motion. We are discussing about linear motion. Okay. Next, I am taking you through a video. Children, this motion and rest, these two states, we cannot specify whether an object is in motion or rest. Some other factors. Another factor is there to determine that. So, we can listen to this video first. Okay. So, here you can see a girl lying down on the ground. So, we are observing, all of us are observing her near her. And she is not changing the position. She is at rest there, is it? Because she is not changing the position. She is lying down there. Clear? Now we are moving away, far away, moving out, moving, then the distance increases, and here our earth, and we are on the surface now, and we came out of the earth. So now we are seeing the earth from outside. Now let us see. So earth in our solar system, and what happens to that earth? The earth, yes, earth is moving around the sun. So earth is there in the solar system, and we are going to see our galaxy. Anyway, earth is, we are now outside the earth. Then, now we are outside the earth, and we are observing that lady. So earth is moving, revolving around the sun, and definitely that girl will also move with earth. At first she was lying down there, and she will be there itself. But we came out of the earth and observing that lady. Earth is moving, and the lady will be moving with the earth. Okay, now we can again, we have to go near her again, and we have to check whether she is lying down there, whether she is at rest or in motion. Okay, now when we observe, the girl is in a state of motion. Let us see. So here, this is not for you, galaxy, and so many galaxies that we are seeing. After that, we will come back to our earth, near that lady. Here we are again. Yes, she is lying down there. So she has not changed the position. Then who changed? Yes, our position changed. When we are inside the earth, with respect to us, the lady is not changing the position. So we can say the lady is at rest. Then when we moved out, and from outside the earth, when we observe that lady, she is changing the position. She is moving with the earth, changing the position. So we can say that that lady is in motion. Yes. So the state of that lady, the position of that object is not changing, but with respect to whom that changed. So we cannot specify the state of an object, whether it is at rest or motion, unless we have a reference point. With respect to that reference point, that is why I told with respect to its surroundings. So with respect to that reference point only, we are able to specify the position, state of rest or motion of an object. Okay? What we call that reference point? We are going to call that reference point as the origin. So reference point is called origin in physics. So with respect to origin, we can specify the position of an object. Suppose somebody is asking, where is physics teacher? So you will say, she is in the class. So where? In science, scientifically, we need to specify the position of physics teacher. So what we have to say? In the class means where? So she is in front of the board. She is in front of that smart board. So in front of the smart board, that smart board is the origin. She is in front, 10 meter in front of the smart board. So that smart board is a reference or origin for that particular position, particular instant. Then the physics teacher's position is clear there. So children, to specify the position, state of rest and motion of an object, we need what? A reference point, that is origin. So here you have observed that we cannot specify whether state of rest, the same lady not changing the position, was at rest and at the same time motion for different observers. So this motion and rest are related. They are relative in nature. Motion and rest are relative. From this example, it is clear. Then, if you have any doubt, we can move on to another simple example. Ready? In this picture, you can see a school bus is here, then two people. A and another one B is sitting in the bus. With respect to A, the B is not changing the position. From the very beginning, she is sitting in front of A. Same distance only, no? So here, A will say that B is in a state of rest. But this girl, she is C. When she looks B from outside, the bus is moving, then B is moving along with the bus. So with respect to the observer C, B is in a state of motion. So the same object, the origin or the reference point changed so that the two states came. Now it's clear, I think. Then we can see one more example, very simple example. Here you can see two people in a boat, and the girl looks the boy and he is at rest with respect to this girl because he is not changing his position. From the very beginning, he is sitting here and the separation is only this much. No change in position. So girl will say the boy is at rest. But so many people are there outside. When another one, this A looks this boy, he will say that the position of the boy is not changing. Sorry, the position of the boy is changing. He is moving through the river. So the position of boy is changing. And A will say that the boy is in motion. So same position, but with respect to the observer, the state changed. That is why I told you that motion and rest, that states are relative in nature. Is it clear, children? Then rest and motion are relative. Rest and motion are relative in nature. You can illustrate that concept by using any of the example. The state of an object depends on the reference point. So here, the reference point. The reference point. The reference point is called what? Origin. Reference point is called origin. The position, state of rest or motion can be described with respect to that reference point, origin. Okay. Then we are now going to describe motion. We need to describe motion. So to describe motion, a reference point is needed. And for describing the type of motion, the features, we need some physical quantities. So we need some physical quantities to describe motion. So, are you familiar with these physical quantities? What are physical quantities? We can see so many properties in our nature, but we cannot measure all those properties. Love, we cannot measure love using any equipment, instrument. But height, my height, 159 centimeter. So my height is 159 centimeter. It can be measured. Your weight, if the weight is 60 kg, the weight can be measured using a scale. So any measurable properties, any property that can be measured is called a physical quantity. Any property that can be measured is called a physical quantity. We have so many physical quantities around us. Time, temperature, yes, speed, distance, length, area, volume, all these are physical quantities. So, we have a property that can be measured, is called a physical quantity. Physical quantities are of two types. We have two types of physical quantities. One is scalar physical quantity. Scalar physical quantity. And the other is vector physical quantity. What are scalar physical quantities? The quantities, physical quantities that have only magnitude. Magnitude. What do you mean by magnitude? So my weight is 50 kilogram. This 50, it is the number value, numerical value of that physical quantity. That number value is called magnitude. The number value is called magnitude of that physical quantity. So, the scalar physical quantities has magnitude only. Time has magnitude only. 1 hour. That number value 1, that magnitude only. In this direction, it has no direction, only magnitude, number value, numerical value. So, it's a scalar physical quantity. Time, temperature. Temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. In this direction is not specified in that physical quantity. So, we can call that physical quantities as scalar physical quantities. Quantities having magnitude only, number value, numerical value only. And here comes vector physical quantity. Vector physical quantities have magnitude and direction. Magnitude and direction. Weight of an object. Weight is 50 kg and it is acting downwards, because you know that weight is what? The force of attraction of earth towards the center. So the weight will be acting downwards. Weight is acting downwards. So weight is a vector physical quantity. Weight is acting downwards. The direction is there and at the same time magnitude. So those physical quantities having magnitude and direction are called vector physical quantities. So we have so many examples. Force. A force is applied, or when you lift the bag, a force is applied in the upward direction. So direction is clear in that. Magnitude 10 Newton. With 10 Newton we are lifting. 10 Newton is a magnitude and upwards we have to apply the force. The direction is specified in force. So force is a vector physical quantity. So we need these physical quantities to describe motion. We have so many physical quantities around us. Here we will see some physical quantities to describe the motion. Clear? Here, motion in a straight line. I already told you, motion in a straight line or linear motion we are going to deal with. And here comes two physical quantities, distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. An example, I am going to give an example. This is your home. This is your home, and every day you are coming from home to your school, our SCV. You can come from home to school. So many ways are there. You will come through this way. You can come to a junction like this and then to the school. So, if you come by this way you have to travel 5 kilometers. And here from home to this junction it is 6 kilometers, and from this junction to our SCV it is 4 kilometers. So many paths are there. So if I ask, what is the distance from your home to school? You will measure the length of this path. You will, if you take a measuring scale or a tape and take the measurement, the length of this path, that is the distance travelled, 5 kilometers from home to school. And another way is there. So, another person is coming from home to this junction, then to the school. Then when you measure that path, 6 kilometers plus 4 kilometers. So 6 plus 4, 10 kilometers that person have to travel. So the length of the path we have measured. That length of the path is called distance. So the total path length covered is called distance. And distance we are not specifying any direction. 5 kilometers is the distance, means you can choose any path. For that particular path it is 5 kilometers. Okay. So the distance is a scalar quantity. Distance is a scalar quantity. It has the number value only. It has no direction. And if someone asks, which is the easiest way to reach school from your home, then we think, oh, if there was a rope or a straight path, if a rope is there in your roof, then straightly you can come to SCV. That is the shortest path. So which is the shortest path from your home to school? Directly you have to draw a straight rope, you have to tie from the roof of your home and then to our school. That straight path gives the shortest way. That shortest distance between any 2 points will be the straight line path, definitely. And that shortest distance is called displacement. That shortest distance is called displacement. So distance is the total path length and displacement. It is the shortest distance. It is the shortest distance from the starting point. We will call that point as the initial point. So, initial point and final point. So, the shortest distance between the initial and final point gives the displacement. So, so here the distance so your home is here, then your school SCV is here. So, we have selected the shortest path, that is 4 kilometer, and another way like this 5 kilometer, and another way to this junction to here 6 kilometer and 4 kilometers. So, distance is the total path length covered by an object, and displacement is the shortest distance between the initial and final point. Is it clear? Okay. Then distance. In the case of distance, we are specifying the magnitude only, not the direction. So, distance is a scalar quantity, but displacement, it is the shortest distance. So, from here right towards the right, towards the north, straight path towards north. The direction is specified in that physical quantity. So, it is called, displacement is a vector quantity. So, distance is the total path length covered, and displacement is the shortest distance between initial and final point. Distance is a scalar quantity and displacement is a vector quantity. Now, here the distance is 5 kilometer we have said. സാറേ 9:15 തുടങ്ങിയത്. അപ്പോൾ 10 എനിക്ക് നിർത്താൻ പറ്റും. താമസിച്ചില്ലേ തുടങ്ങി. അപ്പം എനിക്കൊരു വേണം 15 മിനിറ്റ് വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ. താമസിച്ചു. Then, so here we have selected different paths, and the shortest distance is the straight line path only, no? So, distance can be equal. So, if there is only one way from your home to school, then we will select which path? That straight line path only. Then, distance and displacement can be equal. Distance from home to school will be 4 kilometer, and your displacement also will be 4 kilometers. So, distance and displacement can be equal if we have only one path. But distance, if you check the distance, can you hear me? Is it audible? Who is talking? Okay. Listen. Children, please mute your mic, mute your microphone. Somebody is talking. Mute it. Teacher, Alan, call Alan sir. Somebody is talking. ആരാ സംസാരിക്കുക? So here distance can be equal to displacement. But if we select the shortest path, so here distance is equal to displacement, and if we select the shortest path and if we take another path, that distance can be greater only. So distance will be always greater than displacement, or it can be equal to displacement. But the shortest path is displacement, so always displacement will be equal to or less than distance. Okay. And always we consider straight line. Here we are considering linear motion, straight line motion. Okay. So distance, if we take distance from this origin, this is your origin. From the origin, if we move towards right, and reach C, distance is taken as positive. Distance is taken positive. And if you come back from that position and reach the origin again, what happens to your distance and what happens to your displacement? Now we are going to see that. So here a body is starting from the position O, origin, and moving to C. What is the distance travelled by that object? The distance travelled is equal to from 0 to 25. So 25 kilometer. And if it moves back and reach here, what happens to the distance? The distance will be 25. Then again back to the origin, that is 25. Total 50 kilometer. And we are dealing with displacement. Displacement in both the case. What is the displacement? Then the displacement from starting point to that final point, that is 25 kilometer in the first case, and in the second case it moves back to the origin. So here the starting point and the final point, the initial position and the final position coincides. Both are same, so there is no difference. So what will be your displacement here? When you come back to the origin, it will become 0. So displacement can be 0. And if you move backwards, you have to take, you are moving in the opposite direction, so you have to take displacement negative. So displacement can be positive when you move in the forward direction. It can be 0 and it can be negative also. Okay. So keep these things in mind. Distance is a total path length covered by an object, and it's a scalar quantity. Displacement is the shortest path, and it is between the initial point and final point. Okay. And distance is always positive, but in the case of displacement, we will consider the direction also. Forward direction, we will take it as positive, and when we come back to the origin and move in the backward direction, it is the opposite direction, displacement will be negative. So we will discuss the numericals and some situations, then you will be clear with that. Okay. So here the differences between distance and displacement, you have to keep these things in mind. Total path length covered by an object and scalar quantity, and distance will be always positive. So these three differences we have done today. Other difference we will discuss in the next class only. So here we have the summary of our class. First is state of motion, then the state of rest, then distance as the total path length, and displacement as the shortest distance between initial and final positions. Now we are winding up this session. Then you are waiting for the tip to study physics easily, right? Yes. The only one technique to study physics easily is what? Practice. Practice. Then second easiest method is practice, and the third and final is also practice. So you need to practice, and teacher will give you the notes. After that you have to start practicing. We can see in the next class. Thank you, children.